Episode 7, July. You're so cute. Okay, so where to begin with this one?
Yeah, I know. There's actually a lot I want to cover, but then I realized I want to keep this short.
Yeah, there's a lot going in on this episode. The first thing that struck me was the idea of a new color.
Oh, yeah. I was kind of talking to you about it before we record this. It's like, yeah, I may have to explain this to you, and I haven't thought of a way to explain it. Because I guess I should explain it by giving you sort of the canon explanation, which is Saki has this rare thing. It's I can't even remember what it's called, let alone be able to pronounce it correctly, but it allows it to kind of see colors, so to speak.
Right.
And that's what they mean by a different color. So when all the other units did a performance during the Operation Beckoning Cat, their performance showed off a different color than what they normally would show off during a performance.
Right.
And it sort of happened in first mix too. Saki seeing some new colors.
Interesting. So it's sort of like the opposite of colorblind.
I'm actually going to look up to see what the thing is. Synesthesia.
Okay.
I don't think I pronounced that right. I'll let you have a crack at it.
Synesthesia.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah. So you can see color in music.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually a bit different to what I explained, but close enough.
Because I personally use a lot of visual descriptors when trying to make a point within music. So when it comes to layers of music, I like to, instead of layers, it's textures, because that makes a little bit more sense to me at least. So I get when people use those more physical art terms of colors and textures, but I had no idea that was actually a thing where people could see.
I would look into it. I'm not sure if it's an actual thing, but actually I wonder if there was a link to it. I want to see where that link takes me. Chrome Cynthia.
Okay.
Chronesthesia.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce it for shit. Which is sound to color synesthesia, which is a type of synesthesia. I'm probably not pronouncing this correctly, and this probably not helping. In which sound individually evokes and experience the color, shape, and movement. Individuals with this are consciously aware of their sympathetic color associated perceptions in daily life.
Okay. So the individual person has a color reference to certain types of sounds. So yeah, my point on that is that I guess, for the rest of the episode, it's it's not explained. So I guess for someone like me who's only watched first mix and
it is brought up in first mix, although very briefly.
So I'll have to go back to see how in depth they go into it.
They don't go super in depth to it, but they do bring it up.
Right. Yeah. Throughout the entire episode, I guess you don't really get a lot of it, because the focus ends up turning back around more onto Noah, where, and it's her driving the episode. It's kind of stemmed off of that idea. Does she get the idea from Saki, or?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Because I think if Saki had not brought that up, I think they would have gone ahead with their original song.
Yeah, that's right. In that scene, I remember now. So yeah, I just thought that was sort of left a little bit unsaid or unexplained. Moving on, the rest of the episode was really interesting, because this is something which I've been waiting for the entire series.
And that is?
Someone actually pushing back against one of the units.
Yeah.
Because, as I've said before,
it's bound to happen.
As I've said before, everyone's had a pretty smooth ride.
Yeah, smooth ride.
Everyone's ideas have ended up turning out very positive in the end.
This one did sort of turn out positive, it did have a little bit of an obstacle to get over.
Yeah, and I feel the obstacle was definitely much more realistic as well. And I think the whole business aspect of it is definitely something which sets Photon Maiden apart from the rest of the units. It's been interesting to see how they would tackle that issue of
they're not as you said, it's definitely very interesting because they're not independent like the others are.
No, they're definitely not. The boundaries that they have to stay within, and what they're contractually obligated to deliver. So I really like that, the fact that they're sort of seeing the benefits of being an independent artist and then trying to capitalize on that, but then they get shot down pretty hard.
Yeah, like, no, it didn't really help.
No. I think, I think she took the right approach by going down the road of doing a business plan, doing everything the way that, a record label would want you to do. But then,
Yeah, like at the moment where it really counts, she chokes.
Yeah, when it's actually like, well...
I even say that now because it makes me feel so old saying that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think so. But yeah...
It's like, doesn't like go back to like the early 2000s in the rap scene? Like, it's like you have time to shine, but you just, get up on stage and basically, choke up and can't do anything.
For sure. But yeah, I thought that was... that was definitely a standout point of, finally there being an outside entity, sort of pushing back and saying, no, you're not just going to get like an easy ride. You have to, you're obligated to deliver certain things. And that's definitely what happens in the real world. If you sign a contract.
Yeah, you kind of, screwed there.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that like the biggest mistake when kind of in the music business to sign a contract and kind of not really know what's in it?
Definitely not knowing what's in it is the big thing. There's some record labels or like subsidiaries of record labels which are pretty good where, if you're signed to a contract for, say, 5 albums, the deliverable is just the 5 albums. But then there's other times where it's like you have to deliver 5 albums within the next 10 years and they all have to meet certain criteria. There has to be at least 2 songs on the album which can be marketable singles that have to get a financial return of X amount of dollars, and if you don't do that, then that comes out of your paycheck. So there is many different variables when it comes to contracts.
And you just talking about it's giving me a headache.
And it can be really all over the place, but
especially with some of the more, I'm going to have to say, allegedly scummy companies.
Yes, and definitely the ones that I guess are more legacy companies as well. The ones that have been around, since the 20s, really.
One thing I want to bring up is, where the hell is Shano?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who was their producer and first mix?
Yeah, so she does get that mentioned.
They do mention her by last name in this episode. I remember her last name correctly.
Right.
But I was expecting her to make an appearance this episode. Hopefully she makes an appearance in the next.
Well,
which I guess spoilers for next episode. Should we discuss on what's possibly going to happen in next episode?
Or just one point on that I'm pretty sure they mentioned in this episode that that manager has left, and that's what they were saying. Like the guy in the meeting that was there, he mentioned like you've got new management. So I took that as that Shino had left, and they got a new manager.
I think that's sort of the case, but sort of not.
I guess we will
have to find out later on. Yeah. I'm not sure. Although, even though the game's still a bit ahead of the anime, I know that all the members have left to go train on an island of Call of Artemis, which is interesting. I'm not sure if that... I don't know much info about it, but that's all I know, but I just find that interesting.
For sure. That'll be interesting. Yeah, see if that comes into effect.
I don't think that comes to effect because I think this happens kind of before that.
Right.
So I guess nothing speculation and kind of me talking about on what I know, which I haven't even confirmed yet. While we're here, best scene.
Best scene?
I think it'd have to be the second presentation to the management.
Why is that?
I just absolutely love it. And it kind of, it's the perfect scene to be like, this is why I like Photon Maiden.
Fair enough. I would probably go with the first one, like the first meeting.
Yeah, that one's notable. Like, second time watching, I was kind of like cringing, knowing what's about to happen.
For sure. So, yeah, I think that was my favorite, literally just because, I've been waiting for something like this to happen. So,
although, on that note, MVP.
Ooh. That's...
Although, wait. I got the MVP for, I don't think I got it for episode 6, but I do have it for episode 5. You kind of go and try and tell what your MVP for this episode is.
I mean, it's either got to be Noah or Ibuki, but I have a feeling, for me, it's Noah for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I guess Saki can also be kind of a runner-up.
Yeah, possibly.
I know that's voting for episode 6. Yeah, Sayori is episode 5 MVP.
Okay, yep.
I just wanted to confirm that before I kind of spoke, but that was no surprise.
Yes.
Although I'm trying to think who we chose for episode 6. Oh, I chose Rinku because #Justice for Rinku, which actually, I guess I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I actually chose Maho for that episode, but that's just because, like, I jokingly said #Justice for Rinku, but like if she actually makes an appearance in any future episode, even if she only plays a minor role, I'm just going to vote for her.
Fair enough.
Just because, again, #Justice for Rinku.
So yeah, your MVP for episode 7.
Oh God, that's a tough choice. I know she didn't do. She had. This one's actually quite tough because I could kind of honestly give it to almost any member of Photon Maiden.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose one, I'd have to choose Toa.
Okay then. Bingo,
The bingo board. Yes.
All right. Definitely no more peaky stuff.
Nothing really here.
Nothing about D4 Fest. Nothing about any of the other.
God damn it. I just can't wait to tick Michiru dying in a horrific car crash. I think that's just going to be on every single bingo board until it happens.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, nothing new there to tick off for the bingo board.
Actually, I want to talk about the music this episode, which I got to believe it's probably one of the few times where you actually hear a cover in either a first mix or all mix. Because, well, you kind of hear, I think in my head there's about 3 covers. You've got the Wow War Tonight, which is a cover of Wow War Tonight. And then you've got the cover that Happy Around did for the remix contest. You can kind of consider that a cover, especially considering they perform it afterward. Actually, there's 4 times because Michiru does end up playing that cover earlier on in All Mix. And then you've got Stop by Merm for ID, which was heard in the background at the start of this episode, which I just find interesting. I wanted to note that. Yeah,
it was an interesting use of the cover in there. And when we're recording, we're sort of talking back and forth about like the way that it was mixed into the show was pretty cool.
That was really well done. Yeah. I would say it would have to be a pain in the ass to do it, make it sound like it's like out on the distance on like a loudspeaker.
Yeah, it's not as hard as you think, but to get it mixed well so it makes sense in that context is the more difficult thing. But as for Photon Maiden's new song,
it's really good. And it's definitely something. It actually, even though it's like for them, like the way the show explains it's kind of like a different song. It doesn't really feel like a difference.
No,
it kind of feels like a sort of like a soft reboot.
I think so. Yeah, like the only new sort of thing that for me it feels is more. I feel when with other Photon Maiden songs, they feel a bit more cohesive with the changes from sections, where this one definitely felt much more similar to songs from definitely Happy Around or Mado, where when there is like a change from section to section, they're a little bit more disjointed in the kind of style, where I feel, Photon Maiden style is usually pretty consistent. But as for the overall sounds, it definitely feels very Photon Maiden.
Although I want to bring this up, favorite Photon Maiden song. For me, it's Atsuki. Atsuki version 2 Fruit Mix.
Fruit Mix. Cool. I'm going to have to look up the names because I am terrible with song names. All of Life is cool.
A Lot of Life.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, A Lot of Life.
They're good, but Discover Universe or Here's the Light's better than that.
Photon Melodies is cool, but I think Discover Universe definitely a top one for me.
Oh, yeah. Be With the World's pretty solid.
Yeah, Be With the World is probably a close second. So, definitely Discover Universe and then Be With the World, I think, be my like top 2.
But Atsuki is the best.
Atsuki's pretty cool as well.
So I guess with that out of the way, is there anything else we've got to cover?
The only other thing that I did want to cover was with the new song. I actually do want to have a look at the lyrics for the first time because, you know, they do make a pretty strong statement in this episode where they're talking about how the lyrics of the song should be very much a representation of each of the units, sort of introducing them as...
so it's kind of a lot like Give Me Awesome. Although Give Me Awesome's just focused on Mooney.
Yeah.
I gotta say, the English version of it, I actually enjoy more than the original, although the original's still pretty good.
So yeah, I think this is the only...
Now I say it, I've got it stuck in my head and I'll just jamming out to it.
Yeah, I think this is the first song where I'm like, I really actually want to look up the lyrics to see if they did achieve that goal of, introducing every character as their own person and their true selves, as they mentioned. So yeah, that's all for me. All right, thanks for joining us for another episode of this D4DJ All Mix review series. If you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. It'll definitely help us out. Leave us a comment down below of your favorite scenes for episode 7. Who's your MVP for this episode? And what do you think of
the episode?
Yeah, of the episode.
And also mention your predictions for the next episode.
For sure. Mention predictions for for the next episode.
Every time I say next episode, I got that Snoop Dogg song in my head. I just want now. I want to have that as one of the buttons where it's just the start of it. So every time we see next episode, I just hit that button.
So yeah,
it's better than what I was thinking. I was thinking of swapping out like one of them for just E. If you remember that meme.
Oh, yeah. And check out the description box below for links to all our social media accounts and our Patreon. Go and check that out. You can sign up for a couple of bucks a month to get some exclusive content.
Which is still yet to drop, but we've been that busy we haven't had time to drop it.
For sure. We've been a little bit behind schedule, but we're back on track now.
Don't jinx us.
So yeah, thange again for joining us.
I guess I should explain what the first exclusive content is. It is a failed attempt of me solo recording episode 5, and you'll quickly see why I kind of decided let's go and do this in the basement. Right, so we've moved from a lighthouse into a basement. Yay!
So yeah, if you want to hear Briggs's failed attempt of recording by himself, go and sign up to the Patreon to get that very exclusive content. All right, thanks for joining us again, and see you next time.
Yep, sayonara.